Coming soon to theaters.
Well, okay, kind of. Not really. You ever have those days where you're like, wake up at weird hours and are awake, but also no good ideas come at 3 a.m., but then you start planning the ideas that you have at 3 a.m., thus negating all chance of you going back to sleep? Hi, that's me. I kind of want to talk about my 3 a.m. idea. But if I talk about my 3 a.m. idea, then I might make it real. And I'm kind of secretly terrified of it. So, back in um back in college, I took a baking and pastry arts course, as some may know. So, I was talking about I was joking around saying that I was going to create a YouTube channel. And this YouTube channel was going to be Desserts and Dragons. Or Dragons and Desserts, one of those. I had it written down. And I was going to make D&D themed desserts and stuff based on D&D and standard insert YouTube cooking show here. That was in college. After I did my shoulder issue, went through that nonsense, I figured I'd never be able to make again. And I just put all of that over there. Right? 3 a.m. happened. Yeah, no, this was the whole thing. I even have the freaking, I have art for it that just hasn't seen the light of day. It's really bad art. I looked at it and I was like, oof, I gotta redraw that if I do this. But 3 a.m. came around, right? It's the year of the dragon in the Chinese New Year, so I thought that was funny. And I started thinking, instead of doing it just D&D, because D&D is huge, but also like specific, like I don't know how well I'd be able to replicate and like find different ideas for like different concepts of like different foods related to D&D. I was doubting so it's saying it's huge. I was thinking about making it bigger. Again, nothing good happens at 3 a.m. To involve all of fantasy, because dragons are a fantastical creature in different fictions and different fantasies. And yeah, no, this is a whole fucking story. Maybe I should do this as an actual video and explain this nonsense, because we're going to be here for a bit. Oh, that's the idea. And then after that, fuck if I know. I was gonna like just do a couple of little episodes, just kind of like as a test to see if there's something people will be interested in. It's also not going to be like a standard insert cooking show here, because I have a ritual that I do while baking, because my friend Dio calls me a kitchen witch, but I have to listen to Poets of the Fall while I bake. And if I do that, it turns out amazing. I have not had a dessert recipe, I've not had a recipe fail as long as I'm listening to poets while doing it. It's silly, it's a little witchy woohoo, but I was listening to witch talk creators talking about finding their magic, and my magic is connected to my cooking, because I always feel like you add what you are and what you want into the food, and you spread it into the world, because people try your food and then they're happy and they spread their joy to someone else, and it just becomes this ripple. I'm going into the weeds. Somebody stop me now. Yeah, I always say, I always say there are two things that I'm passionate about in this world. I love a lot of things, and I have a couple things that are really special interest for me, but there are only two things in this world that I'm super passionate about: writing and cooking. Writing and baking, mostly. I mean, I'm a really good cook, but I'm a better baker, if that makes sense. Yeah. I love gaming, not passionate about it. I mean, I get excited about it, and there's a difference. But you get what I'm focus. I was talking about how it's not going to be a standard cooking show because of the ritual. So what's going to happen is I'm going to film it while I'm doing my shenanigans and while I'm baking, while I'm listening to music. It's going to be muted, and then I'm going to talk you through the process, or talk people through the process of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And so it's not going to be what you usually see with you're going to have, I'm not going to have the camera looking into the bowl, because I'm terrified that my janky little ring light that is going to fall over is going to fall into the food, and I can't lose my phone. So you're going to see like a side angle of me doing shit, and I'm also a disaster. So it's not going to be clean. It's not going to be neat. It's going to be chaos if I do this. And I don't know if... Oh, okay. But if I do this, it'll probably happen sometime closer to the end of the month, technically in March. If I do this, I will also start promoting my Ko-fi again, because there's no way the 9 will be able to do this alone. So we'll see. Not that I'm asking for money or anything. I'm just realistically stating this is the reality that's going to happen if I do this. And if this works, we don't know. I am talking out loud, and you guys are captive for my, or thinking out loud, and you guys are captive for my experience. Come on, baby, you got this. Yeah. Yeah. It's a little dragon buddy. He my friend. We'll call him Dez. Yeah. Can you see it? Yeah. His name is Dez. Technically, he was for a project that, cozy fantasy vibes. Yes. Back in college, there was if we wanted to open our own restaurant, which I might have the files still somewhere, of what we would do, and like the main, the themes, and I was making cupcakes for each D&D chromatic dragons, and it was this whole big thing, and that was the menu art guy. I hope you guys are excited as I am.